Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to Randomly Random Reactions. I'm your girl Bwame. Today we are watching and reacting to the movie BlinkTwice. I've heard so much about this movie, about how it exposes the entertainment industry. There is so much commentary out there on it. Let's see if it lives up to the hype. Let's get into it.
The movie opens with a young woman named Frida, who aspires to be an animal-themed nail artist but works as a waitress. She is currently posting pictures of her nail art on social media, after which she stumbles upon an interview of a man named Slater King, who is a billionaire tech mogul.
Slater King.
Slater publicly asks for forgiveness for unspecified inappropriate behavior, and announces his resignation as CEO of his company. He also reveals that he purchased an island where he grows his own food and raises chickens. It turns out that Frida has a crush on him and begins finding more information about him on the internet. Moreover, Frida becomes frustrated by her monotonous life, and exclaims that she needs a vacation. Days later, she and her roommate, Jess, arrive at Slater's annual gala to work as waitresses. Her boss confronts Frida about her actions at last year's event when she tried to speak with Slater. She apologizes, explaining how he approached her and complimented her nails, but her boss advises her to stay invisible this time. The two girls notice how lavish the event is, with wealthy guests dressed in their finest. While working, Frida occasionally peeks at Slater. Later.
Why does the room look so clear? That is such a bright room. Anyway, what kind of name is Slater King? What? Let's continue.
Jess brings her to the locker room, where she is smuggled in two party dresses for them to wear. After that, they start roaming around the party, blending in with the VIPs. Soon, Frida...
It's so funny that the movie says they are blending in with the VIPs when they are so much standing out with their red and blue dress when everyone else is in black or white. What? Oh, Lord.
Notices Slater in the distance, and begins to walk toward him, but she accidentally bumps into a waiter and falls to the ground.
What a way to bring attention
At
to
this
yourself.
embarrassing moment, a hand extends to help her, and it turns out to be Slater's. After the two introduce themselves, Slater decides to acquaint her with his social circle, starting with his therapist, Dr. Rich. Frida jokes that he should blink twice if she's in danger, which Dr. Rich does, and they laugh. Slater then introduces her to his childhood friend, Cody, his security, Stan, his right-hand man, Vic, and his female friends, Heather and Camilla. A college graduate, Lucas, a DJ named Tom, and a reality TV star named Sarah. Following this, Frida's night is transformed into a whirlwind of laughter and liquor, and she is overjoyed to hang out with her crush. But during this, his assistant Stacy arrives and says they must leave for the island. The two sadly say their goodbyes, and Slater proceeds to leave. But as Frida is talking with Jess about her experience, he unexpectedly returns and invites them to accompany him to the island, which they accept. In the next scene, Slater's entire group, excluding Dr. Rich, boards a private jet and flies to their destination. When they arrive, Frida is utterly shocked by the lavishness of the place. Stacy then shows up to collect everyone's phones, so their vacation is not disrupted by work issues.
Why are you taking everyone's phones? That is the first telltale sign. Why are you taking everyone's phone so what they can enjoy and not be distracted? What? That is the first telltale sign. Look, I used to work at a legal firm, and literally this is one of the signs of potential trafficking. You know, potentially being trafficked. When they take your phone, your passport. Why are you taking my phone? Because you don't want me to have footage of certain things. That is why they are taking your phone. That is why they don't want you to have access to anyone else outside of the world they are trying to put you in. Very suspicious. It's funny, like no one questioned it. No one questioned it. Everyone just started giving their phones. Wow. What? Be careful out there, guys.
All of them agree without hesitation, but Jess is a bit skeptical and hands it over.
Yes.
Next, Slate.
Yes, that should be your reaction. Be skeptical about it. Like, why do you want my phone? Why? You brought me to an island outside of the world I know. I'm miles away from home, and you're taking the one thing that I can use to access my family and friends, that I can use to call for help, that I can use to take evidence of certain things going on. Why? Why? Clock it.
Takes Frida to her room, which is stocked with clothes for her to change into. After he leaves, she takes a shower and applies an exquisite perfume she finds in the room. While she's about to change, an old maid...
I'm sorry, but you already have clothes in the room she can change into. It sort of clearly shows that you have a lot of guests coming around. She's not the only one, first of all. It kind of gives off, I don't know, it's just weird. It's just weird. Because you invited them, you could have stopped by. I mean, it's not like you were going for an event at the island. You could have stopped by their home so that they pack a bag. But the fact that you want them to wear certain specific clothes that you have provided is a red flag. It's a red flag. You know those traffickers that basically kidnap these girls and give them clothes to wear so that they can sell them off on the web? That's what is coming off us. That is what it is coming off us. Let's see if that's what it is about.
He arrives and looks at her as if she knows her, calling her Red Rabbit. Frida is confused and asks what it means, but the woman leaves the room without responding. Later,
Rabbit?
Frida goes outside and meets Jess, who is surprised that there are clothes for them given that they were invited at the last minute. But Frida dismisses it as a perk of being rich.
See? Her friend is really intelligent. I like the way her friend is being cautious and skeptical about everything. Why do you have clothes for us already when you just invited us? Why? How? Yes, I get that he's a billionaire. He has access to things. He could have called before they got there for his mate or whatever to provide clothes, but it's highly unlikely. What is more probable is that this is what he does all the time. I mean, Frida is so mesmerized by the wealth and all of that he's willing to close her brain and her mind and her eyes to things that are not seeming normal, you know? And sometimes when you're poor for a long time and you are all of a sudden suddenly exposed to wealth, sometimes that's what happens. Your brain just shuts and you don't think well.
The two then meet the rest of the girls, all of whom are dressed similarly. None of them find it strange, and they proceed to join the men at the
None of them find it strange?
While there, Frida continues to exchange looks with Slater.
What? None of them find it strange that they are all dressed the same? Are we in school? Are we in a school? Why are you all dressed the same as grown adult women? Why does a billionaire want you all to dress the same? And how come there are other girls on the island? I mean, he gave the impression that only his friends were coming to the island with, why are there tons of other women on the island? See what I'm saying, guys? And all of them don't find it strange. These women seem like they're about to be sold off to slavery. Like, I'm sorry, but that is what it is giving. And anyone with spidey senses will just sense that.
But he's soon approached by Sarah. She tries to flirt with him, but he doesn't seem interested in her and keeps his focus on Frida. Following this, Slater gives Frida a tour of the place, and shows her a rare flower named Desideria, from which their perfume is made. He also reveals that the island is infested with lash vipers, which the workers are attempting to eradicate. He then opens up, admitting that he remembers almost nothing about his life before the age of 10. This is why he visits Dr. Rich, who specializes in repressed memories. Frida finds it strange, but Slater explains that forgetting can be a gift sometimes. As they continue their tour, they come across the assistant Stacy, who is carrying several red gift bags. Later that night, everyone gathers in the dining room, where candles are lit all over because the generator isn't working.
I'm sorry, this is like a cult. Like they're all in white, sitting with candles around the table. And this is one thing. In times of danger, when you are the sole attention of the person in charge, it is not a compliment, or it is not a good thing. You know, the way he's solely focused on her, it's not a good thing. It's like, sorry to say, it's like Diddy being focused on you at a party. No, it's not a good thing. It is not a good sign. So don't take it as flattery, because it typically means that you are the one who is the most in danger, like amongst all the people there, because his or her eyes are on you. The person in charge's eyes are on you. They are focused on you. Girl, run, because you are in danger. You are in danger. That means you are memorable. You know, you're not like the other girls that can just run away and disappear and no one would notice. That means your disappearance will be noticed by them. You know, so even in terms of trying to run away, makes it 100 times more difficult for you.
While eating, Frida accidentally stains her dress.
Like
the right-hand man, Vic, then asks her what she does for a living, to which she responds that she's just trying to figure it out. We also notice that Vic is missing a pinky finger, so Slater jokes by asking how he lost it, but Vic doesn't respond. He instead takes out a small bottle of MDMA drugs. After consuming them, the group experiences euphoria, and begins laughing and having fun.
So
Everything
they give them
appears
drugs
to be going well, but when Frida goes to bed, she notices that the stain on her dress has disappeared. She finds it strange, but doesn't think much about it. Over the next few days, they drink bottomless champagne, and swim in the pool during the day, followed by gourmet dinners and drugs at night. One evening, Slater notices the scar next to Frida's eye, and asks what happened, but she claims to have no idea. She then questions her about her nails. Frida responds by explaining her small brand, Animals, which is a combination of the words animal and nails. The answer seems to satisfy.
This girl is gone. Look at her eyes. Look at how she's staring at him as he talks. She's gone. She is infatuated, obsessed, in love with this man. And that gives him the upper hand to control her. She's gone. She's gone. And something keeps ringing in my head. What he said, that sometimes it's a gift to forget, or it's a blessing to forget, or whatever he said when he was having a walk with her. Isn't that strange? Anyway.
But he suddenly excuses himself and leaves. He leaves in such a hurry that he forgets his vaporizer. As Frida is observing the vaporizer later, she notices dirt under her fingernails, which shocks her. The next morning, when Frida goes to return the vaporizer, she sees Slater leaving his therapy session with Dr. Rich. Frida greets the doctor, and reminds him of when Slater introduced them at the gala, as well as the joke about blinking twice. But the doctor nervously agrees with her, before quickly leaving the mansion with a red gift bag. One night, everyone is dancing and having fun, until they hear a scream. It turns out that Jess has been bitten by a snake. Slater kills the snake with a bottle, and assures her that the venom is not deadly. However, she begins to panic for some reason and leaves the party. When Frida approaches her, Jess says she wants her phone back and wants to leave. She claims that something bizarre is happening here, and that these people are strange. But Frida refuses to leave, claiming that, for the first time in her life, she doesn't feel invisible, and this is the vacation they have always desired. In the end, Jess also agrees and decides to stay on the island.
I wonder how long they've been on the island so far, because don't these people have lives? Like, don't they have jobs to get to? Don't they have family to get back to? Except this billionaire specifically targets people that don't necessarily have families and things like that, because the likelihood that people will search for them is lower. Why is her friend the only one who is asking for her phone back? Why are they just all happy to be there, taking drugs, partying every night, eating every night? Like, at some point, you must definitely get tired.
Later on, while staying alone, Jess experiences a nosebleed. The next morning, Frida begins her day by showering and applying the same perfume. She then goes for a walk, during which she comes across a red bag lying on the floor in front of her room. Curious, Frida enters the room and discovers a large number of red bags inside. Just then, the old maid arrives and starts.
Wait, I don't know if this is significant, but remember, his party was also red and white. You know, it was a white, bright room with just red tables and chairs. I don't know if it correlates. And this room also has like white shelves with red bags. I wonder if it correlates. Let's watch and find out. And remember, this maid, this old woman, or this grandma, respectfully, called her, I think, red velvet or red ruby when she first saw her. I wonder if it relates.
Calling her Red Rabbit again.
Red Rabbit.
She also gives Frida a strange green liquid, which the latter takes a sip of without hesitation.
Why is she drinking that?
But the maid quickly points to some snake remains, revealing that the liquid is actually venom extracted from all of the snakes they have caught.
Oh. Gosh. She just drinks snake venom. Oh my God. I'm sorry, guys. No. Did she just drink snake venom? Did she just drink snake venom? How is she still alive? Oh my God. A strange old woman gives you some green potion to drink and you just, take it and drink it? Like what? Without asking questions, without asking what it is, you just drink it. Oh my God. Ooh, how do I recover from that? God, I have goosebumps all over me. Yuck! Yuck! Okay. Let me recalibrate and... Okay. Let's continue, shall we?
And Frida frantically leaves the room. In the next scene, she has a strange dream in which she sees Jess holding a knife and asking her to hide it. When Frida wakes up, she doesn't feel well, and her appearance catches Sarah's attention. Lucas then shows up with a bruise on his eye, but no one pays much attention to it, just as no one notices Jess's absence. After breakfast, the men are excited to go fishing, while the girls decide to stay behind.
Did you hear that? No one notices Jess's absence. Why? Because she wasn't the center of attention. And so no one really cares. No one really cares. They don't even notice. Because of the drugs and all of that, they don't even notice that someone is missing. I wonder where Jess is. Let's find out where Jess is.
Stay behind. One of the girls takes out Jess' lighter, prompting Frida to ask about her. But shockingly, none of them seem to recognize or remember someone named Jess. A worried Frida then rushes to the room where Jess is staying,
you don't remember
only
her?
to find the furniture piled up as if she had never been there. Frida then heads to her room, where she finds a knife behind a mirror.
That is the knife she saw in her dream.
Sarah appears holding the lighter with Jess's name on it. Frida asserts that Jess was here, but Sarah says she would recall if there was another person present. Frida then talks about the
What?
strange events that have been happening, like how she always wakes up with dirt under her nails. Sarah also shows a bruise on her arm and has no idea how she got it. Plus, she admits that in this group, she only knows Cody, who approached her in a coffee shop and invited her to the island.
What?
This makes them both real.
That means I literally thought she was the billionaire's friend. Because wasn't she at the party? That means this billionaire is just recruiting people to come to his island. And it's so strange because they are waking up with bruises on their hands, on parts of their bodies, and dirt under their fingernails, and they don't remember anything. They don't even remember that somebody called Jess was with them. Of course, apart from Frida. And even if the lighter gives it off that there was a Jess here, they still just can't remember. I wonder what is going on. Wow.
That they're somehow being played by these men who are manipulating their minds. Next, Frida recalls how Slater once mentioned that forgetting is a gift. They then enter the room with several red bags and speculate that the perfume must contain a substance that causes them to forget their memories. Frida also states that she started recalling some things after drinking the snake venom which was given to her by the maid. Soon, Frida discovers more snake venom in the room.
Yeah, because it was only after she drank that snake venom given to her by the old lady that she actually literally started remembering. Because when the other girls didn't know or didn't remember that there was someone called Jess there, only she could remember. Wow. That means the spray she's been spraying herself with every morning causes her to forget. How? Okay, I'm invested. Let's continue watching.
And gives it to Sarah to try. They then decide to mix it with tequila and give it to Heather and Camilla, hoping that it will help them regain their memories as well. They are soon joined by Stacy, and she also consumes some of the drinks.
Stacy's the billionaire's assistant,
the girls
right?
that the men will be returning soon. Realizing that time is running out, Frida decides to search for the phones inside and asks Sarah to yell if the men arrive. Not long after, Sarah begins to get a nosebleed, just like Jess had before she disappeared. When the men arrive, Slater asks where Frida is, so Sarah simply responds that she's getting freshened up in her room.
See? Slater has never asked where Jess is. He hasn't asked where Jess is, but he's asking where Frida is because Frida was the center of his attention. I told you that in times like that, if you are the center of the attention of that man or woman who is evil, it is not an advantage to you. It is actually a disadvantage because immediately she wasn't around. He noticed immediately. But we haven't heard him asking about Jess. Because he either knows where Jess is and is pretending not to know, and is not bringing it up so the girls wouldn't also ask, or he just literally does not remember Jess because she wasn't memorable to him, and she wasn't the center of his attention. You get it?
Meanwhile, Frida enters Slater's private villa and breaks into a locked cupboard to look for the cell phones. She manages to find them, but then hears Sarah yelling and quickly hides everything. At this point, a box falls, and Frida is shocked to see several Polaroid photos of various people holding red bags. Moments later, Slater walks in.
This man stays having parties in his island. He stays having parties in his island. So this is not the first time people have been to his island. See what I was saying about the clothes already in the cupboard, and who is to say that those clothes are not clothes of some dead girls that came and were killed? Like, I'm literally being for real here.
And grabs some liquid for his vape. He is completely unaware that Frida is hiding under his desk. Just then, the snake venom begins to affect her, causing her nose to bleed and triggering some memories, where she sees herself and the other women bound and terrified while the men tortured them. It turns
Wait, that means did Jess, because Jess was the first person to bleed, right? From her nose. I'm sure Jess got access to the snake venom and took it and started remembering stuff. And so they got rid of her. Oh my God, did they get rid of Jess? Did they get rid of Jess? Oh my God, let's watch and find out. Oh my God, I hope she's not dead. I really hope she's not dead.
out the snake venom had made Jess remember everything, so Slater ordered Stan to kill her. This shocks Frida, and she immediately runs away when the billionaire is distracted. She goes straight to Sarah and tells her everything that happened to Jess. Afraid that the same
God,
fate
they
will
killed
befall them,
Jess.
they decide to keep acting
killed her
normal
best
until
friend.
Heather and Camilla regain their memories. Later that night, during dinner, Frida's memories start flooding back. She realizes that the men have been assaulting them every night and using the perfume to erase their memories. It turns out that Lucas was against it, but the other men were pressuring him and asking him to grow up. Frida also recalls Dr. Rich assaulting her recently, and how worried he was that she would remember the incident. But Slater assured him that the worse it is, the more they forget. This explains why the perverted doctor was startled and nervous when she recognized him a few days ago. In the present, the disturbing memory makes it difficult for Frida to pretend that everything is okay, including Sarah. But she gathers some courage and begins to dance, joined by Sarah.
What? This is what they've been doing to these girls? These women? These men are evil. That is why Lucas had that black eye. Oh my goodness. That is terrible. Oh my goodness. I really wasn't expecting that twist. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So they killed Jess. Oh my Lord. Whew. Zoe Kravitz did her thing. Honestly, she did her thing because wow. Ah, that is heartbreaking. Let's continue watching. Wow.
The others soon follow, and the night appears to transform into yet another cheerful gathering. But they are startled by a sudden scream, which turns out to be Camilla, who has remembered everything. In a fit of rage, she repeatedly stabs Tom and kills him until Slater arrives to restrain her. Heather's memories also return at this point and she starts chasing Vic. Inside,
Go get
Sarah
him.
stabs Cody's hand and attempts to attack him further, but he
Yes!
escapes. Meanwhile, Heather catches up to Vic and strikes him with a chessboard.
Yes, he
She ends up
deserves
smashing
it.
his face. But then,
Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't support violence. Let me just put that disclaimer a bit. But these men deserve it. They deserve what was coming to them. They deserve it. They deserve it for taking advantage of these women. What? An eye for an eye. In this case, I think it works. I don't support violence out there, kids.
the security stand shoots her to death.
Oh.
Just then, Stan notices Frida in the distance and begins to chase her. She runs into the woods, but he eventually catches up with her and prepares to shoot. Fortunately, Sarah strikes him with a massive rock from behind,
God.
killing him instantly after hitting him several times.
These women are angry. They are
Meanwhile,
angry for being
Slater
taken
drags a
advantage of.
severely injured Vic and a tied-up Camilla into his private villa. Lucas, who has been using the perfume like the girls, doesn't understand what's going on and starts to panic. However, Slater ignores him and steps on Camilla's neck, causing her to suffocate and die. Elsewhere, Frida is looking for a knife in her room when Stacy arrives, clearly distressed. She realizes that Stacy's memories have returned. However, unlike the others, Stacy is under the influence of the perfume by choice. She claims that forgetting is a gift, and furiously accuses
Someone who
Frida
has been
of forcing her to
indoctrinated.
remember such traumatic events. During the struggle, our heroine fights back and ends up stabbing her in the chest to death.
Yeah, she deserves it.
Back in the woods, Cody is searching for the remaining girls under Slater's orders when Sarah brutally shoots him to death. Meanwhile, Lucas is still perplexed and doesn't understand why the girls are behaving this way.
Boy, you're in danger.
On the other hand, Sarah reunites with Frida, who has found a Polaroid picture of herself in the mansion.
She has different hair.
The shocking thing is that this picture is from 1 year ago, which means Frida has been here before as well. Upon learning this, the girl...
She has been there before and they erased her memory. That is why Slater recognized her at the party. Because he actually knows her. Everything is clicking now. Everything is clicking now. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. What?
Girls arm themselves with a knife and a gun and head out to put an end to their tormentors.
Yeah.
Soon, they arrive outside Slater's villa and demand that he opens the door. He refuses, but Lucas decides to open it himself, and he is immediately shot to death by Sarah, while Slater seizes the opportunity to subdue Frida and locks the door. She grabs an object to attack him, but he quickly overpowers her. It is at this point that Frida has a flashback to a year ago when she tried to escape. She fell on a rock, causing a wound on her face that later became a scar.
That is how she got that scar.
Frida had painted her nails with a red rabbit design.
Oh,
she also remembers that...
That is why the maid called her Red Rabbit. That means it had nothing to do with like those red envelopes. Those red envelopes just had the snake venom. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I hope this has a happy ending.
She was the one who had bitten Vic's pinky finger back then. In the present,
oh my
Slater
God,
informs
this movie has so many plots. Zoe Kravitz did her thing. Zoe Kravitz did her thing. Oh my God. What? Zoe Kravitz did. I really wasn't expecting these things. I really wasn't expecting these plot twists. Oh my gosh. Wow. This is great, great story writing. Wow. 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 Wow.
Humanity would be free from suffering and pain if they could just forget their traumas. He encourages her to join him, put on some perfume, and leave everything behind. As he continues yapping, Frida quietly begins to free herself with a glass shard.
Yes, girl.
Just then, Sarah starts shooting at the locked door, but she soon runs out of bullets, prompting Slater to pursue her. He drags her into the room, where Frida, who has cut herself free, is holding the knife. Slater confidently grabs her knife, and she fears that he will kill her, but the billionaire says he won't because she is his best friend. After this, he inhales from his vape and is about to finish Sarah off. But he suddenly feels disoriented, and doesn't understand what he's doing or what's happening. It turns out that while he was outside, Frida infused his vape liquid with the same perfume he had created. This causes Slater to collapse, and he ends up knocking over some of the candles, making the fire worse. Soon, the whole villa is engulfed in flames, and Frida leaves Vic to die in the room. Once outside, Sarah expresses her hope that Frida knows what she's doing. And as the camera pans out, we learn that Frida has also saved Slater from the burning villa. In the final scene, some time has passed, and we see Slater's company hosting another gala. He is approached by Dr. Rich. The doctor wants to meet privately and discuss something, but Slater appears disoriented and confused. Just then, Frida intervenes and informs the doctor that Slater won't be available. Turns out that she is now married to Slater, and Dr. Rich becomes nervous when he sees her, especially when the woman claims she remembers the doctor. As the movie ends, the host introduces Frida as the company's new CEO, all the while she drugs Slater's vape to keep him disoriented and compliant. Okay guys, thanks for watching.
What a W! So she erased his memory and took charge of his company and his wealth. Girl! Yes, she deserves it for all the pain that he caused her. All the that she endured. Nah. No. This is a hit. This is a hit. It's not a miss, definitely. Wow, I understand like the hype and everything behind it. Like I understand now. And I didn't even watch the full movie. This is just a recap. Woo! Guys, I hope you enjoy this with me. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think of BlinkTwice? What do you think of BlinkTwice? Like, were you as surprised as me by the plot twist? Have you watched it before? Is this your first time watching it? Are you planning to go watch it? I know there are a lot of spoilers, but wow. For those of us who can't afford Prime Video or go to the theaters, we will settle for a recap, and we ain't ashamed of it. Okay? Guys, this has been a great time, honestly. Please do, if you enjoyed this video, please do like, comment, leave a comment, and subscribe. Bye, guys.